Hello everybody, welcome back to Threadman Chazza, welcome back to YouTube. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're having a good day. We're back today with another video. This time we're going to talk about Christian Eriksen. Obviously we saw the reports that Christian Eriksen has verbally agreed to join Manchester United. So today we are going to discuss Christian Eriksen, sort of what his best attributes are, where we think he might play, where he can improve Manchester United, you know, what can he bring to the team, etc. So that's what we're going to cover today. So guys, please do subscribe if you're new. Please do like the video as well. Please do get in the comments as well. Let me know what you guys think about Christian Eriksen. So, obviously, this is a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, Eriksen, who's himself very fortunate to maybe still be here and still be playing football, you know, after the incident for Denmark at the Euros. But obviously, he's come back very, very strong. For Brentford last season, played very, very well, created lots of chances, very good from set pieces. I think Brentford were actually in a little bit of danger at one point during the season. I do remember Brentford were, you know, I think they went lots of games without a win. I think they were a lot of people's sort of favourites to go down. They were struggling a bit, but I think with Christian Eriksen, I think they were helped out a lot. I think if they didn't have Eriksen, I think they may have struggled and they may have finished quite a bit lower than they actually ended up finishing. So I'm just going to get the stats up here on Eriksen, just because I want to just have a look at how he's got on sort of last season. So let me just get the stats up on here. My initial thoughts, I think it's a good signing. I think on a free transfer as well, I think it makes sense, really. Certainly makes sense. So, yeah, last season he played 11 games in the league, 1 goal and 4 assists. So, yeah, playing for Brentford, remember, in a back three as well, in a different system than he'd be playing at Manchester United. Often playing a little bit deeper as well. So I think you would see, not that I'm not bothered about stats, but I think you would see maybe those numbers going up as well. Manchester United, I think you'd see him impacting the game more. But yeah, basically, once in every 2 games, he's impacting the game through a goal or assist. So it's decent, really. And if we just look through, his stats, yeah, progressive passes very high. Passes into the final third very high, key passes very high, crosses into the penalty area very, very high. Corners, he takes the court. He's very, very good at set pieces as well. Obviously, in terms of the sort of defensive statistics, he ranks very, very low in terms of pressures, tackles. But that's obviously also to do with the Brentford system. So I think individual defensive stats are a little bit hard to look at sometimes. Obviously, I did the video on Diogo Dalot. And we looked at his sort of defensive stats, but you have got to be careful when you look at defensive stats. I think, you know, a lot of it comes down to what sort of system the team's playing, what's their philosophy, what's the defensive structure like, what the forward players doing off the ball, etc. So, with Eriksen, my initial thoughts are I think he's a very good signing on a free. I think there's a few misconceptions. I think the first misconception is that Donny, Bruno and Eriksen are all only number 10s. So there's a lot of people that are worried about Eriksen in terms of when is he actually going to play. A lot of people think, is he only going to play 1 in every 5 or 6 games? Is he only going to play in the Cups? Is he only going to play in the Europa League group stages? Is he actually going to be a first team player? What I suggest is, I think he will be a key player for Manchester United. And I'm not saying he's going to start every game, but I think he will be a key player for Manchester United. If you believe the reports have come out, you'll see that apparently Erik ten Hag has been very keen on him. Very keen. I don't think Erik ten Hag would be signing Christian Eriksen if he didn't think that he was going to play a big role in this team. If you look at, as I said before, we've got Donny van de Beek, we've got Bruno Fernandes, can already play the number 10 role. Bringing in Christian Eriksen as well is saying to me that for at least one of those 3 players, he's got a different role lined up for one of them. If you look at Eriksen, for example, he's played on the right-hand side before. If you think about under Pochettino in a 4-2-3-1, he's played on the right-hand side. He can operate in that sort of half space between sort of what we consider the normal wide role would be in a 4-2-3-1 and sort of an attacking midfield role. So he could work very, very well in that space. So if you look at what Kevin De Bruyne did in Manchester City, for example, I think he could work very, very well in that space. So yeah, Eriksen, in terms of his position, he's not just a number 10. So obviously that's where he's played for a lot of his career, but he can also play as a wide right player. If you look at Donny van de Beek, for me, he can play in a pivot, but that's not where you get the most out of him. And I think you will be more open if you play him in a pivot. I think he's best as a 10. And I think Donny van de Beek has the possibility. He has, I think, the attributes. I think he could play a false 9 role. I'm not saying he will. Again, we're just speculating at this stage. I think he has the attributes too. Bruno Fernandes, I think, can also play as a 10 and possibly a wide role as well, and also possibly as a number 9. So in terms of, if you are worried, and I understand people's concerns, when are we going to actually give game time to these players? If we've got Bruno, Donny and Eriksen, they're all number 10s. They're not solely all number 10s. I think Donny van de Beek is probably the most, in my opinion, I think Donny van de Beek is probably the most likely to play the 10 position, actually. And as I said, I might be wrong. It depends what Ten Hag's thinking. But I think Eriksen could very well play a wide right role. I think Bruno has the ability to play as a number 9, obviously, if we see Ronaldo leave, and also in a wider role as well. It all depends on how Ten Hag sees this vision. But I think what we need to just remember is that there is some flexibility here. You know, I talked about this the other day. The way that Erik Ten Hag sets his team up on paper is not the same as what you see on the pitch. So you will see on paper a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3. If you actually watch the game on the pitch, if you watched Ajax before, you will see the formation on the pitch during the game, in possession and out of possession, will probably not represent that formation in terms of it will not represent the sort of the rigid nature of the 4-2-3-1. Erik Ten Hag will likely set up maybe in a 2-3-5 or 3-2-5. So I think this is just important to note that under Erik Ten Hag, positions are not rigid. There are some positions, of course. You're not going to see, the centre forward playing at centre back, but what you might see is the centre back making a very, very direct run towards the front line. You might see the right back joining to make a front 5. You might see the number 8 dropping into a back 3 to aid the build-up. Erik Ten Hag has used a lot of different tactical things in the past. He's changed things between the 18-19 season to last season, using a different forward, using different pivot. He's used different players before. He will adapt to what he has. He is that type of manager. Of course, managers can adapt only so much. Yeah. So, for example, if you gave Pep Guardiola Burnley's team, Pep Guardiola can only do so much with Burnley's team. He can only, because of his philosophy, there's only a few players in that team that he can really get maybe the most out of. However, if you look at Manchester United's team, there's something to work with there. Okay, we know we need lots of signings, yes, but there are a few players that he can work with there. So I wouldn't worry too much about Eriksen in terms of the possible game time he will get. I think he will actually get quite a lot of game time. I think he'll be quite an important player for us. So I think, Eriksen could play in the 10 or a wider role. Bruno, the same, maybe even as a 9, and Donny as a 10 or a false 9 possibly. So there's a lot of tactical sort of flexibility here. Lots of fluidity in terms of our forward players. So Eriksen, I think his biggest strengths, I think creative chances, set pieces. If you think about Manchester United in the last however many years, really, we've been so poor from set pieces. Obviously defending set pieces, we've improved at as the last season, really. But attacking set pieces, we've been so poor. I mean, I think there was a stage last season, I'm trying to think, I think it was before the Leeds game. I think we'd had 100 corners and we hadn't scored from one of them. And I think Maguire scored a header from a corner against Leeds away from home in the 4-2 win, I think it was. But before then, we'd never scored for the whole of the season from 100 corners. So getting a player in like Christian Eriksen is key. I think set pieces, I think people underestimate the impact they have. I think in the Championship, I think teams have a great emphasis on set pieces. And I think in the Premier League, a lot of people, when we talk about, managers like Pep Guardiola, like Jurgen Klopp, we don't talk about set pieces. We just don't talk about them as much as we do maybe in the lower leagues. If you think about how many goals, I think City and Liverpool, in terms of conceding from set pieces, they're right at the bottom. In terms of scoring from set pieces, they're near the top. So the top teams, you've got to be strong in the set pieces, and that comes from both the delivery of the set piece, and it comes from the aggressive nature of attacking the ball or defending the ball. How are you going to react? It comes from your goalkeeper being dominant. And if you look at factors, you think about sort of our team in the last few years, we haven't really had a brilliant set piece taker. I mean, Luke Shaw puts a good delivery in, but Eriksen is a whole new level. Look at the goalkeeper. De Gea is not exactly dominant from defending set pieces. You look at sort of the attacking set pieces part as well, players. Harry Maguire, although he is very, very good in the air, how many goals has he scored from set pieces? Not that many, not as many as he should have done. So there's something to work with there, I think, in terms of the set pieces, and also during open play, I think Eriksen will be key for us. So yeah, I think this is a good signing, but I've said this before, and I'll say we need at least 5 others, in my opinion, as well as Eriksen, and that excludes anything that happens with Ronaldo. If Ronaldo was to leave, I think we need 7 signings, honestly. So the time that I'm recording this video, Ronaldo is still apparently wants to leave. Chelsea are considering, this is the time that I'm recording the video. There's no other news at the moment at the time of the video. So do excuse me if any new, more relevant and more recent information comes to light. If Ronaldo were to leave, I think we need 7 and possibly even 8 players. I mean, it really is. We do need a lot of signings. And signing Eriksen on a free is a very, very clever deal. I think there's been talks about Paulo Dybala as well. A lot of people it's a bit of a tough one. I know with Dybala. Personally, I would take Dybala. Again, very, very flexible, can play as a false 9 and number 10 on the wide right position. I think he actually had a very, very good record last season. Although a lot of people are saying he missed some games, he still played, I think, 29 games or something like that in the league. So he still played the majority of the league games. I think he scored 15 goals and got a few assists as well. I'm just going to confirm that now. So yeah, Paulo Dybala. So he played 29 games, in the league, 10 goals and 5 assists. And in the Champions League, he played 5 games, 3 goals and 1 assist. So look, Paulo Dybala is a top player. Only still gets sort of 29 years old. I think he gets to in November. I think it is. Yeah. So I think that could be an interesting one. But we've got to make sure we don't sign too many players in the same position. Yeah. So I think if we signed Eriksen, if Ronaldo were to stay, I think it depends on where Ten Hag sees Eriksen and Dybala to play, because I think what you've got to remember is if Jadon Sancho gets injured, I think Sancho's our best wide player. If he gets injured, a lot of people don't rate Anthony Elanga, Martial, Rashford. Obviously, you look at the situation. If Sancho's injured, we really are struggling in those wider areas. So if Ten Hag sees Eriksen as a 10 solely, then you look at the wide areas. Even if Ronaldo stays, obviously we've had talks with Anthony. We definitely need at least 1 wide player. You could argue even 2. But this is one summer, and you have to be realistic, I know. But you've also got to be sort of realistically ambitious, if that makes sense. You've got to be ambitious, but also keep your ambition sort of in check and look at the situation we're in. And I think a realistic summer, what Manchester United should be doing, 6 players, including Eriksen, if Ronaldo stays. If Ronaldo were to go, I think we will need 8 signings. I really do. I think we will need 8 players. And people will be saying, well, how do you sign 8 players? But you've got to realise there are some good deals to do that out there on the market. We've sold Andreas Pereira to Fulham. We've signed Malacia from Feyenoord. the net, I think we sold Pereira for around 10 million. Malacia was signed for around the same amount. That's net zero, really. That's net zero. So at the end of the day, nothing's gained. You know, we haven't paid out any money, and we haven't really gained any money. So that Malacia signing is almost a free signing. So you've got to look at Malacia and say, well, that almost shouldn't really count towards the transfers. I mean, we need to get some transfers over the line, some more players. And obviously, we want to get rid of a few players as well. But I think if you can sign free transfers, it is clever business if they're the right player. Because if you think about it, and there are people that think, you know, it's about you want to save the Glazers money, etc. If you want to sign a free transfer, that's rubbish. You know, if you have got and every team has a budget. If you have a budget, every club has a budget, right? If you have a set budget, and you can sign one or two players, not just because they're free, oh, let's go and sign them, they're convenient, it's free transfer, let's save money. No, because they're the right player for the right manager, that actually frees up money elsewhere. So it actually makes a lot of sense. So if Ten Hag does want Dybala, and if he sees Dybala as playing a key role, as well as Eriksen, as well, then I'm all for it. I think we've got Erik Ten Hag. If it's Ten Hag that is talking about Dybala. So that's just my thoughts. In terms of who Eriksen will play best with, I think Christian Eriksen is that good of a player. I think he can play with a lot of different types of players. Obviously, we're expected to have more possession under Ten Hag. Christian Eriksen, we may see him drop slightly deeper to try and dictate the play a bit more. But if we do sign Frenkie de Jong, which is still up in the air, then I think Frenkie de Jong is going to be that sort of deep-lying playmaker in the system. So it's going to be interesting to see what Ten Hag sees for Eriksen. You know, does he see him as number 10? Does he see him as a slightly deeper midfield player where I don't think he would work quite as well? I know he's done that a little bit for Brentford. I know he's dropped into sort of deeper roles, deeper positions a lot of times during games. But I think for Erik Ten Hag's system, I think Eriksen could suit sort of an inside right position if Ten Hag wants to play Donny or Bruno in the 10. So we'll see what he does. But in terms of Eriksen, we all know he creates chances. He's very, very good with his set pieces, good crossing ability. Off the ball, he doesn't offer you a great deal if you look at the stats. However, Erik Ten Hag has used players in the past who haven't been renowned for off-the-ball work. So has Jurgen Klopp for Liverpool. So has Pep Guardiola for Manchester City. You can change these players. You can mould these players into the type of players and the type of roles you want them to do on and off the ball. So I think Eriksen, there's a lot there to work with. He's got the fundamentals. If you've got a clever, intelligent footballer with good fundamentals, then you have got a chance of succeeding. I think this is a good sign. So I think that's it from me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can probably tell by the lovely background. I am away at the moment, but I did manage to get a few spare minutes to record this video. So guys, please do smash a like on the video. I have taken a bit of time out my holiday to prepare this, so please do show your support if you can. Please do subscribe if you are new. When I am back from my holiday, I will be doing more live shows. So please tell me, guys. I know there's been a few more pre-recorded shows recently, but that has mainly been because I was planning to go away, getting ready to go away. I had a lot of work to sort out, as well as this sort of YouTube and Twitter stuff. So I've had a lot of other personal things to sort out as well. So that's sort of the reason why I haven't been going live as often. But we will be going live a lot more before the season starts. We've got I think we've got a few shows lined up with a few interesting guests. So please keep on the lookout for that. And yeah, if there's any other breaking news that drops, I will get a video up. But this was all about Christian Eriksen. I hope you enjoyed. Not so much a full analysis using a thread that I did on Twitter, as I have come away. I did do a small thread on Twitter if you want to check that out, but it was just, I've covered most of the stuff really in this video. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. As always, I really appreciate the support. So thanks a lot, guys. Please do smash a like on the video, guys, if you did enjoy. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think of Eriksen? Do you think he's a good signing? Where do you see him playing? And please do, as always, have a good day, and I'll see you later. Cheers, guys.